I think everyone knows the Board of Mayor and Aldermen adopted Ordinance 2012-12, which annexed the Lucy community. And just a few days before that ordinance became, or that annexation became final, a lawsuit was filed challenging the reasonableness of the Lucy annexation. The effect of that lawsuit was to stay the annexation so that it did not take effect, and the Lucy residents were not part of the city of Millington for purposes of the referendum election or any other election. They were not eligible to vote in the Millington election. So two things are happening. Number one, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen is considering Ordinance 2012-20, starting tonight, to repeal Ordinance 2012-12. In other words, to repeal the annexation ordinance. And that repealer ordinance will have 3 readings, and assuming that it passes on 3 readings, then the Lucy annexation by ordinance will go away, and the lawsuit will actually be moot because there won't be any annexation by ordinance. But the Board of Mayor and Aldermen believes that there are many, many, many people in the Lucy community who want to be annexed into the city of Millington. And so the process is starting to have a referendum whereby the citizens, or the residents of the Lucy community, will vote at the November 6th election on whether they want to be part of the city of Millington or not. As part of that process, the board will pass a resolution calling for a referendum for annexation. And then there will be, this is backwards from the way public hearings and votes normally happen, but in this case, the resolution and the plan of service, well, the plan of services for Lucy is in effect, and the repealer ordinance does not do anything to do away with that plan of service. The new resolution calling for a referendum election for Lucy citizens reaffirms the existing plan of services that this board already adopted. So that, assuming that this board votes on the resolution, and there will be a public hearing, and then the Lucy residents will have the right to vote on November 6th whether they want to be part of the city of Millington or not. Now, do you want me to go ahead with the...
Go ahead with the sales tax thing.
Okay. One of the issues that City of Millington citizens voted on at the August 2nd election was there was a referendum election to approve a sales tax increase. And that was voted on at the same time as the referendum election to determine whether Millington wanted to establish a public school system. And as I think all of you know, the school district establishment ordinance passed, but the sales tax increase ordinance failed by 3 votes. We discovered, the city discovered, that in the district or the precinct identified as Lucy-1, that residents of Lucy who were not and are not citizens of the city of Millington, and who were not on August 2nd and are not now eligible to vote in Millington city elections, in fact were given ballots and did vote. I can't tell you everyone did, but some did vote in the Millington sales tax referendum. And so we have tried to figure out, we have been working on how do we deal with that, because if the city of that it wants to establish a municipal school district. And it is believed that the sales tax referendum would pass if those, because it was so close, it was 3 votes, if those ineligible votes were removed. We have determined after consultation with the Election Commission and research that the best course for the city to take is to file suit against the Election Commission to challenge, to contest the referendum, the sales tax referendum. Now let me just say that none of that in any way affects any of the other elections, because it has been determined that there are no other elections, not the decision, the referendum on the schools, not the mayor and alderman elections, even though there were people who voted in those matters, it would not change anything that happened. The only thing that it might change is the sales tax increase referendum. So we are going to, and the Election Commission acknowledges, it's not a question of dispute of the fact whether ineligible voters voted. They know it. So what we are going to do is file a lawsuit to challenge the ineligible voters, because on the theory that it is impossible for us to determine, for anyone to determine truly what the outcome of that election was if only the allowed people, the eligible voters, voted. It is our expectation that that will be handled and done fairly quickly enough so that at the November 6th election, the sales tax increase referendum can be held again, and only City of Millington citizens will be eligible to vote at that time. So that is what Resolution 37-2012 is about, is asking the board to approve and authorize filing that lawsuit to challenge the sales tax referendum election, and to authorize the mayor, after consultation with me, to hire an appropriate attorney to represent the City of Millington in that lawsuit. Now, just FYI, my partner is McKinney, who handles virtually all of the litigation for the City of Millington, and my other partner, John Ryder, who is the Election Commission's attorney, cannot participate in this lawsuit because it would be a conflict of interest, since even though we all know that there were problems, you don't have 2 lawyers in the same law firm representing parties on opposite sides of the lawsuit. So we will be looking at someone other than Mr. McKinney, and the Election Commission will have someone other than Mr. Ryder. And I guess, are there any questions?
We're going to go through proceeding along a series of ordinance readings, and I'll try to remind you as we go through what we're doing. The first ordinance is Ordinance 2012-20. This is an ordinance repealing Ordinance 20-12. So I'm going to read the caption. Now what this does, this begins the process, plain language, of de-annexing Lucy. And we will go through this process. I'll announce we'll have 2 called meetings to get this accomplished before the September meeting. So at the September meeting, we can begin the process of passing the resolution to have a referendum for the Lucy residents to vote whether or not they choose to be annexed. So we've got a very tight timeline, and I'll try to keep you informed as we go through. Okay, Ordinance 2012-20. An ordinance repealing Ordinance 2012-12, which was an ordinance annexing into the City of Millington the territory generally known as the town or community of Lucy.
Second.
Now, is there any discussion that we want